Hello there. Welcome to Alchemize Yourself Tarot. Right now, I'm going to be exploring the idea of regret and how the person you're thinking about regrets losing you. But I'm also going to be exploring why this still affects you. Why do you still care? So this is going to dive into their remorse and your lingering attachment, illuminating not just the connection, but what's unresolved within you. Because many times, in the tarot world, we'll continue to watch, a relationship will be over, but there's all this lingering attachment, and we're still kind of, addicted to knowing, especially in situations where there's no closure. You'll still kind of do these check-ins, and, it's like, what are they thinking about you? They miss you, blah, blah, blah. So we're just going to dive into that. We're going to go a little layer deeper into their energy, but also your energy in regards to that. Because I think there's more meaning in why you still care about it. Okay, so let's get some tarot here, and then I'm also going to go a layer deeper with some oracle cards. Okay, so what is this person that you're thinking about and checking in for? What is it that they regret the most about you, losing you, or losing this connection? What do they regret the most? Let's see. Illusions. So the moon card in the reverse would be they miss and regret losing the fantasy, the enchantment that they had. This could also be something that you're thinking. I think when they think about losing you, there's no longer this mystery. I believe this person was able to create fantasy and mystery by having you chase them, or by being a mystery to you. Many of you got tired of trying to figure this person out, and they miss that. They miss that they could intrigue you or get you hooked on them. Also, they've been exposed. The moon card would be exposure and clarity. You have them figured out, and they don't like that. Regardless of whether or not they want to reconnect with you, they know that there's no way to recreate that illusion anymore. So what did they actually lose when they lost you? What part of you or this connection do they realize has value, right? Because they definitely enjoyed the fantasy, the mystery, the enchantment, your lack of clarity, your confusion. They liked triggering your fears. But what did they actually lose? What did they realize that they lost? Oh, success and recognition. So, victory. They realized they lost somebody that they could actually have been very successfully committed to. With the Hierophant, they see you as somebody that they could have actually settled down and had a successful life with. So it didn't really serve them to create fantasies and illusion, because they lost somebody that they feel very spiritually connected to. You were like a soulmate partner for them. Spiritual advisement, they may have felt, a strong spiritual resonance with you, like you understood them on a soul level, and they feel like you would have brought out the best in them. You really cared about their success, I feel like you really they missed the attention that you gave them. You made them feel really good about themselves. You acted as an encouragement. And it wasn't just about material success or ego. I think in a way it fed their ego to have you, constantly trying to decode and figure them out. But there's a strong psychic bond there. I feel like they're missing that energetic cord that they felt with you. And you definitely brought out the best in them, or you definitely, pumped them up like you were their cheerleader. And they know that you would have always been their cheerleader, right? You were always very supportive of them, even when they were, causing you a lot of fear and confusion and anxiety. This person could have really triggered your shadow. But once you figured them out, there was no game left. So this is about you, collective. Why do you still care? Why are you still emotionally hooked? Let's explore why you still feel emotionally hooked to this person. Two of Wands. I think there was just a lot of, you really saw the potential. Two of Wands is about planning and decisions and moving things forward. You saw the potential, and it's really hard to let go of that, because you realize that if this person would have been on board with you, things would have moved forward really quickly with the two of you. So you fell in love with, or you got really emotionally attached to the potential of this relationship. And many times that is the case. Many times people get more hooked on the mystery or the unknown or the expectation of something. So there is this sense of expectation or waiting. I'm almost getting like the Three of Wands too. It's like, could this have really been something? Like, there was definitely something here, right? You're sensing that. But what is the narrative that you're holding on to? What are you still telling yourself about this person or the past? Three of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles. I think what you're telling yourself is that this person just wanted to be single. They wanted to date. Or maybe you're telling yourself that this puts you on your own journey of independence. Maybe you're supposed to be single. Could be that this person just wanted to celebrate, party, not settle down. I think that's the narrative you're settling for now. And also many of you are single and independent, and you're putting yourself back out there. You're open to new relationships. You could even believe that this person, even if you weren't meant to be in a commitment with them, you may have still held on to the narrative that you could be friends or reconcile with this person one day. There was always that expectation that there's just something there, something here for the two of you. And it's like, it could have really been something if there weren't all these illusions or confusion between the two of you. But what are you actually avoiding by holding on and still doing these check-ins? And what is the inner truth or wound or fear that you sidestep by continuing to care? Because there is a fear, you know, when you keep checking in, when the energy is still lingering, when you have all these emotions about the expectation. You know, sometimes we create a narrative and we put somebody in our story and they don't live up to that. You know, it's natural. A lot of people do that. A lot of romantic relationships start that way, about projections, projecting, excuse me, projecting a fantasy onto somebody. And it's really hard to let go of that, the story, the narrative. It's not even just about the person anymore. And they felt that. They felt that you expected a lot out of them. And that could have scared the hell out of this person. But there's definitely something you avoid by still checking in and not just moving on. What are you avoiding? Temperance, resolute or restoration and balance. Healing, you know. Temperance is all about acceptance and taking care of yourself. Also, this person, if they really disappointed you or let you down or created like a roller coaster ride for you, it's very hard to reestablish balance between the excitement and the expectation and then the letdown afterwards. So there is this avoidance of like, could even be that things feel really quiet and peaceful, but you're avoiding that peace. It's like you're kind of wanting maybe a little bit of the excitement that you felt with this person, the excitement over seeing them evolve or change or want to commit. You know, we get addicted to the highs and the lows and the highs, you know, being brought up high and then being dropped really hard. You get addicted to that pattern. So when things get really calm and peaceful and you start to gain clarity, you miss that excitement, and it's like you want to check in. Are they coming back? Have they changed? You know, that's a natural human feeling. What do you truly want now? What is it that you truly want now, though? What is it that you truly want now? Eight of Cups. You are wanting to detach. You are wanting to let go. You're wanting to evolve. You're wanting closure on this. And that's actually a very healthy place to be. You don't want to continue to, you know, be caught in a loop and you know, a cycle. You're ready to move on. But every so often you do wonder what's going on with this person. Who are they with? What, you know, it's a natural human feeling to want clarity, and you do have clarity because this person kind of revealed their game with you. You may have even saw something that gave you closure. So how do you release or reclaim your energy? Because this is about you. It's not just about them anymore. You know, because when you do energy check-ins, you're still keeping that energetic cord there, in a sense. How do you reclaim your energy? Four of Cups. It's a missed opportunity, right? There's acceptance and there's peace now. And also, it's a missed opportunity for them. You've waited long enough. You've been, you know, you've been supported supportive of them long enough, or, you know, kept your hopes high. Many of you were very positive and hopeful, but this person had a scarcity mindset. They didn't see their potential. You saw more potential in them than they did, even in themselves. And sometimes that is the case, especially when you have high hopes and expectations. You know, it can overwhelm a person when you expect a lot out of them, or have standards, or, you know, you have a fantasy of who they should be. They missed their opportunity because they didn't want to give. They didn't want to invest. And, you know, that's not your fault. It just is what it is. There just was not, you weren't having any growth in this connection with the Sun in reverse. I think there was a lot of passion, but not enough true effort, mutual effort put in to turn it into anything. You're realizing now that it was an illusion. It was just a fantasy. This kind of flipped over. I didn't fully show. Yes, soulmate. One of a kind. Wheel of karma, consequences, bad choices. And emptiness. Suffering a loss, deeply affected. You were very deeply affected by this person. And now they could be feeling the emptiness too. Like, there's definitely going to be a sense of loss when you feel a strong bond with someone. What is their regret, though? Let's get a little deeper. What is their regret? Happy, single, not looking for love. They regret acting like they didn't care, that they were happy being single, that they were focused on other things, right? And they projected that to you, that they didn't want a relationship. But now they're regretting having all these other people, acting like they wanted to be single. That could have been very confusing for you, because maybe you were very supportive and someone that they could have committed to, but they had to, like, they just didn't even care. They were having a good time, you know? And what they know that they lost. What do they know now that they lost? Success, victory, having a really solid partner. What do they know deep down that they lost? A guided lesson, learning, shadow work. There's still hope. They may feel like there's still hope. They are definitely learning an important lesson about appreciating true value when it shows up. You know, this was a tough lesson for them. So they may even be having an awakening about how much deeper this connection was than they treated it, or how they acted. You know, they were just fine not having you in their life and having other people, and now they're realizing, wow, this could have actually been something. You gave them a lot of hope. You guided them through their shadow in a very healthy, loving way too. They saw a lot of their shadow get explored or triggered through their connection to you. But why do you still care? You definitely sense you're angry, bitter, resentment, not forgetting. Some of you do have some resentment and bitterness. And you're studying, you're snooping, you're spying. You want to see that this person regrets it. You want them to feel it. And maybe that's a shadow that you have to explore within yourself, is any anger or bitterness, not forgiving, you know, because there's definitely something within you that needs to heal. You may not feel angry all the time, but every so often you're like, well, why did this person act like that? You know, it just, you know, it's unexplainable when you're giving them so much of yourself. It's just hard. It's inexplicable. And you're trying to figure it out, right? You're snooping in, you're tapping into the energy. I mean, a lot of us have been there where you just want to shake the person. Like, why can't you just appreciate this or see this? But the narrative you're still holding on to is, you definitely sense that this person just wants to be single, right? Conflict, arguments, opposition. There was always a power struggle. So you remember the struggle. You remember the conflict. You remember this person triangulating you, or maybe even having you compete for their attention with other people. That's what you're remembering about it. You may not remember the good times at all, because you just remember this person constantly pushing back, keeping you in the dark, you know, starting conflict over nothing, or, you know, getting other people involved. It could be that they had friends, family, people in their community, other lovers that were creating conflict when it came to you. And what you end up avoiding by holding on is you're avoiding new love, a renewal of love, a new beginning, death of the old ways. You avoid opening yourself to new love. So keep that in mind. Holding on to anger or holding on to expectation blocks new love from coming in for you. That's something to always remember. Don't hold yourself back. Don't block your own growth, right? It's time to walk away so you can be in a good partnership that's not just a fantasy or a projection, something that's real for you. Somebody that's ready for you. This person definitely was not ready for you. They have to figure that out. And if they wanted to hold back or miss an opportunity, that's on them. What you truly want now is you want to evolve. You want to walk away. You've lost hope. Yeah, you've lost hope. The time has run out. It's just been too long. And the reason you're checking in is maybe you're checking in for that closure. It's very likely they didn't give you closure. You just kind of figured it out. Oh, they're still wanting to be with other people. You know, when somebody isn't there for you, what else can you assume? Is that they're wanting to do their own thing, they want to be single, they want to play the field. You know, it's just been too long. And you can reclaim this. You're no longer wanting to hold on to this. You're accepting that it is what it is, right? It's just blocking you from new love, new opportunities by staying stuck on them. Yeah, hopeful. You become hopeful again, inspired again. Your head becomes clear, a clear headspace. There's nothing better than that. You don't want to be reeled back into confusion and chaos and third parties and all that confusing stuff. You want to feel hopeful and optimistic again, because you are a very hopeful person. And this actually hurt that side of you, that hopeful, positive. It really did a number on that for many of you, because you are somebody that loves deeply, and to have it dismissed as something superficial or not important, that's very painful. Yeah, legal matters, court, marriage, divorce. Someone could be going through some legal issues, and something to realize too, is this somebody that you could have had a balanced relationship with? Could you have been in contract or marriage with somebody like that? That's something to ask yourself. And yeah, boundaries, drawing the line, fed up. Something was a final straw too. Something, you know, it's going to look different for both of you, or, you know, all of you. But something definitely was the final straw with this person, for sure. But you still fantasize about them sometimes, right? They rejected it. But they kept. You had, like I said, you had just felt a really strong connection with them. Sometimes we just have to let it go, though. You can't hold on forever. I don't wish that on anybody. I don't want to do readings where I, you know, give you false hope or feed into a fantasy. I want you guys to have love in your life that's available to you, that's real. Okay? Where's the compassion here? Where's the compassion? Trauma. Honor your need for recovery from what you have experienced. Help is there if you reach out. So there's help here, right? Temperance. Some of you felt very traumatized. This person probably triggered a lot of wounds, especially if you had these really extreme highs and lows. This can create trauma, bonding, and wounding that can take a long time to heal from. But help is here. You're breaking this pattern. You're breaking this cycle. You're 8 of Cups. You're walking away. And it takes a lot of courage to do that. It takes a lot of radical honesty and self-awareness to do that. To not stay in a fantasy. Also, unraveling dysfunction. Correcting learned patterns will create a healthier foundation for your relationships. Yeah, there was a need to unravel this dysfunction. Running and chasing and a hot and cold and avoidance. There were a lot of important lessons that you learned here when it comes to unraveling dysfunction and trauma. Some of you have had patterns of this in other relationships, even besides this person, where you get really intense and understanding. The best way to understand a perspective is to listen without judgment. Yeah. Listen without judgment. And yeah, even doing this reading, to not have judgment. A lot of people have gotten into this dysfunction and trauma bonding and attachment. A lot of us have gone through that. And to be supportive, collectively supportive of people wanting to get out of these karmic cycles. And it's not about holding on to anger, which sometimes the sacred rage gets us to change. It's important to have sacred rage, but not sit in it, right? That's where you find your empowerment. Adopt a mindset of strength and limitlessness to overcome obstacles. There we go. That's true empowerment. So thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. I hope this helped with your personal empowerment, and I hope to share the energy with you again. Bye.